Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun and the smallest planet in our solar system. The tiny planet has no moon of its own and zips around the Sun faster than all the other planets, which is why the Romans named it after their swift-footed messenger god. The Sumerians also knew of Mercury since at least 5,000 years ago. It was often associated with Nabu, the god of writing, according to a site connected to NASA's Mercury Surface, Space Environment, Geochemistry, and Ranging Mission, or MESSENGER for short. Mercury was also given separate names for its appearance as both a morning star and as an evening star. Greek astronomers knew, however, that the two names referred to the same body, and Heraclitus, around 500 BC, correctly thought that both Mercury and Venus orbited the Sun, not Earth. Mercury is the second densest planet after Earth, with a huge metallic core roughly 2,200 to 2,400 miles wide, or 3,600 to 3,800 kilometers wide, or about 75% of the planet's diameter. In comparison, Mercury's outer shell is only 300 to 400 miles thick, or 500 to 600 kilometers thick. The combination of its massive core and composition, which includes an abundance of volatile elements, has left scientists puzzled for years. Because the planet is so close to the Sun, Mercury's surface temperature can reach a scorching 840 degrees Fahrenheit, or 450 degrees Celsius. However, since this world doesn't have much of a real atmosphere to entrap any heat, at night temperatures can plummet to negative 275 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 170 degrees Celsius. A temperature swing of more than 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit, or 600 degrees Celsius, the greatest in the solar system. Mercury is the smallest planet. It is only slightly larger than the Earth's moon. Since it has no significant atmosphere to stop impacts, the planet is pockmarked with craters. About 4 billion years ago, an asteroid roughly 60 miles or 100 kilometers wide struck Mercury with an impact equal to 1 trillion 1 megaton bombs, creating a vast impact crater roughly 960 miles wide or 1,550 kilometers wide. Known as the Caloris Basin, this crater could hold the entire state of Texas. Another large impact may have helped create the planet's odd spin, according to research in 2011. As close to the Sun as Mercury is, in 2012, NASA's MESSENGER spacecraft discovered water, ice in the craters around its north pole in 2017, where regions may be permanently shaded from the heat of the Sun. The southern pole may also contain icy pockets, but MESSENGER's orbit did not allow scientists to probe the area. As if Mercury isn't small enough, it not only shrank in its past, but is continuing to shrink today, according to a 2016 report. The tiny planet is made up of a single continental plate over a cooling iron core. As the core cools, it solidifies, reducing the planet's volume and causing it to shrink. The process crumpled the surface, creating lobe-shaped scars or cliffs, some hundreds of miles long and soaring up to a mile high. Mercury speeds around the Sun every 88 Earth days, traveling through space at nearly 112,000 miles per hour, or 180,000 kilometers per hour, faster than any other planet. Oddly, due to Mercury's highly elliptical orbit and the 59 Earth days or so it takes to rotate on its axis, when on the scorching surface of the planet, the Sun appears to rise briefly, set and rise again before it travels westward across the sky. At sunset, the Sun appears to set, rise again briefly, and then set again. As Mercury takes just Earth days to orbit the Sun and Earth takes 365 days, approximately 3 or 4 times a year, Mercury overtakes Earth during its trip around the Sun, and an optical illusion occurs. Mercury appears to move backward across the sky for about 3 weeks. It is during this time that Mercury is said to be in retrograde. Astrologers consider Mercury in retrograde to be a time of misfortune and miscommunication, as perceived backward motion interferes with the planet's rules. The young age of the small scarps means that Mercury joins Earth as a tectonically active planet, with new faults likely forming today as Mercury's interior continues to cool and the planet contracts. A 2016 study of cliffs on Mercury's surface suggested that the planets may still rumble with earthquakes, or Mercury quakes, if you will. In addition, in the past, Mercury's surface was constantly reshaped by volcanic activity. However, another 2016 study suggested Mercury's volcano eruptions likely ended about 3.5 billion years ago. One 2016 study suggested that Mercury's surface features can generally be divided into 2 groups, one consisting of older material that melted at higher pressures at the core mantle boundary, and the other of newer material that formed closer to Mercury's surface. Another 2016 study found that the dark hue of Mercury's surface is due to carbon. This carbon wasn't deposited by impacting comets, as some researchers suspected. Instead, it may be a remnant of the planet's primordial crust.